Success Strategies. Today's show is World Domination Wednesday, and this is Jane Gardner, and I'd like to welcome you to Jane-Gardner /SSS if you want to subscribe or check out Solopreneur Success Strategies TV. And hi, this is World Domination Wednesday, and I'd like to welcome you again to say that today we're going to be talking about who is your customer. And that is the most critical thing. Besides figuring out what the solution that you have for your potential customers, knowing who your customer is important because they, of course, are your business. So on World Domination Wednesday, we talk about you and your customers. We want to talk about knowing how to define what your customer wants, which we did last week or the week before. And then you give your customers what they want. You keep those customers with your customer service, and then you keep growing your business with more customers by also having happy customers who refer you on to other customers. So that's what we'll be talking about. So far, we've been talking about defining what your customer wants. But of course, first I forgot to tell you who I am. I'm Jane Gardner, and I work with my husband in our home-based structural engineering company for the last 20 years. About 3 years ago, I went onto the internet to see how I could help other people who might be interested in having their own home-based business or being an entrepreneur, which gives you the freedom and the control over your life, as well as, of course, it's hard work, but it's also can be very rewarding. So we live over in Western Canada. We have dogs and cats, and I'm an artist, and I love doing memes. So you might see me on the internet doing a lot of memes. So last week, we discussed some of the factors that you need to think about when you're looking at who your ideal customer is for your business. The first week, we looked at your business and your products or service and asked, what is the benefit of your product or service, and how is it a solution for your ideal customer? So, for example, we are using a wrinkle cream product. And of course, the benefit to the customer is that they won't have wrinkles. As well, it's a monthly subscription, so they don't have to go out and shop for it. And also, what was the other thing? Oh, you only have to put it on once a day. So you don't have to carry it around in your purse. Yes, it's probably women is the majority of the audience for wrinkle cream. And of course, don't assume. Always do your research. So we're going to have a look at some places you can have an idea of research on where you can go. So we had a look last week at some of the factors that you look at in order to define who your customer is. So we looked at demographics, where they are, what their age is, and female or gender or male gender, etc. As well as we looked at geographics. You could probably find more people needing a wrinkle cream in the southern states or southern hemisphere than you would in the northern hemisphere, where up here we don't get as much sun. And then we looked at psychographics, which is looking at your culture, looking at their habits and looking at their behavior and the things that they believe in. So, for example, I would probably have to be very desperate in order to get a wrinkle cream because I'm not in the habit of using much makeup, as you can tell, and I'm not planning to do it now because I'm 58 years old. I'm using a little bit for the TV, etc., etc. So you have to look at who is your customer and what do they want, and can you solve their problem or can you fulfill their need? For example, if they wanted ice cream and you were an ice cream vendor. So let's have a look at some of the slides. We did finish off with psychographics. I'm wondering if maybe we should go have a look at that one again. See if I can get that slide up before we go on. because it is fairly detailed. Let's see where we are. I think, is that the right one? Yes, there we are. So let's just have a look at that again before we go on and have a look at some of the places that you can research. So, of course, the demographics is fairly obvious. It would be age, your gender, your location, that kind of demographics. Now, the psychographics are a bit more complicated and would require a bit more research. So that would be their interests, what they like, what they kind of marketing messages would they be interested in, and what their opinion is on various things, and their beliefs and their values. What is the goal they want to achieve, for example, or their attitudes toward things, and their purchasing motives. Why would they purchase something? Fear of loss, fear of pride, prestige. Do they want to save money, or do they want prestige? And they want to feel comforted and connected, or do you want to avoid pain? Personal characteristics, sometimes you not very easy to tell that, but you can sometimes have a look at some of the marketing messages out there and figure that out. And their activities, what do they do? What are their hobbies? Where do they go on vacation? What's their social class, for example? Are they professional or are they manual worker? So that would take up a whole course, I would think. But for anyway, so we'll go on now to World Domination Wednesday. And who are your customers? Your customers are those who want your solution to their problems, or they want your solution to fulfill their desire. There are 3.3 billion internet users online today, and from those people, I'm sure you can find your ideal customers who will come back and buy from you again and again. And I have a 4-week course to define your ideal customer. And so we have it's a 6-day, I'm changing that to a 6-day intensive to define your ideal customer so that you can get going on getting on your business. We don't want to take 4 weeks. So you have a look at your business, and then how does it solve your ideal customer's need or problem? And then you define your ideal customer profile by we go over some of the places that you can go and find the demographics, the geographics, and have a look at the psychographics and some of the research sources for that in order to define your audience. And then how to use your research to craft your messages to your ideal customer. And then how to use tracking tools to measure the success of your messages. So my offer is over for early adopters, it's over at jgtips.com/customer profile, customerprofile. And over there, you will see that there's also 5 weeks of email discussion with me. You can go back and forth as you define your ideal profile. And we will have 6 days of 1 hour or an hour and a half discussion of things that you can do to define your customer. So by the end of a month, you should have had very detailed information about your customer. So that's what my offer is. So let's just continue on now. So last week we had a look at the demographics. You want to look at your age, location, your gender, your income, and your education and profession of your potential customers. Then you want to have a look at your psychographics, your personality, the attitude, the values, and the hobbies. And then I added in geographics because geographics does be taken into account, especially for things like beauty creams when you're looking at places for more exposure to the sun, etc., versus living up in Iceland. And today we're going to look at media and some of the ideas for places you can go to look at your media to research. And then next week we'll be looking at some of the a lot of the social media sites have a lot of their background data on the purchasing behavior of their clients, so we can have a look at that and see when do they buy and what are they looking for and what are they using currently and that kind of thing. So today we're going to have a look at one of the places that you can go and have a look at your research. But first, let's go past psychographics and just review again who our customer was. So we thought the customer was a lady between 45 and 65 who was a professional. She was a business corporate woman who was concerned about aging, and her salary is $100,000 and more. So the question then becomes, well, where does she hang out when she is not working? And sometimes that can be a bit tricky, but what you have to do is you can look at some of the magazines that she might be reading. TV this day isn't as relevant as much as the internet. I know there's a lot of reduction in the number of people who are watching TV, and certainly I don't think we can see too many statistics from that, or movies, but we can certainly find statistics on websites, which we'll do today. And a lot of the social media sites, they have analysis and insights in the back for anyone who is a business. So we can have a look at the social media and have a look at the insights there. And of course, if you're into something that has government research or white papers, I know I go to Kaufman.org, which has lots of reports about the trends in who is becoming an entrepreneur, for example. There's a lot of people in their 50s and above who are becoming an entrepreneur at a late age. And they have other research, for example, millennials and stuff. And also they had a report on people from Latin America and how many women there are becoming entrepreneurs. So you can certainly have go and look at government research. Any of the Small Business Administration information is available to you to have a look at, and I guess we should have looked at that today, but maybe we can look at that next time. I'll write that down. And but today we're going to look at Alexa, which is an Amazon company. And what they do is they go out and they track websites, and you have to pay first most of the times. So we're going to have a look at it first before my free fine disappears. So I thought, okay, maybe my busy corporate woman might want to be reading or going on the website for Forbes because she wants to go up the ladder. I don't know. You make certain assumptions, of course. And on Alexa, you can pay to do research as well. But it is a very popular website. So it's 240 out of who knows how many websites in the world. And it's ranked 89 in the United States. So whatever data it has should be very relevant to anybody who works in America. And obviously the estimated unique visitors, etc. You have to have the advanced plan. But what we're looking at is down below, basically 50% of the visitors to Forbes magazine are from the United States. So, and they, when they're talking about bounce rate and daily page views, that's very good. They have only 30% bounce rate. And so, okay, let's have a look at where they're coming from. They're coming from Zappos, Google Alerts, Upwork, USPs. Oh, no, that's not US. Yeah, okay. The Iowa Caucus. I don't know, sure why they came there. But anyway, so people are going and searching for work-related things. And then where did they go? Before the site, they were on LinkedIn, Facebook, Yahoo, Google. And that would help you realize where your people are hanging out. But of course, what are the kind of sites that link to Forbes? Well, Amazon, of course, Yahoo, eBay, Badu, I don't know what that is. And of course, there's Wall Street Journal, Business Week, etc. And other sites, of course, they have other sites as well. But where do they go on Forbes? What do they have a look at? Well, they look at the blogs. They look at topics. Most of the visitors go straight to Forbes.com. And let's just go further down here because who visits? The audience demographics. What is very interesting is I was quite surprised, so there you go, that the female population is actually more, it's above the internet average visiting Forbes, and the male population is below the internet average to visit Forbes. So women are going to Forbes to find out about business. And the education on average, the average is quite